And we are back with another episode of From the Rafters. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, May 9th. It's soon to be Monday, May 10th. We're recording this at 11:38 p.m. after the Celtics Game 4 win versus the Milwaukee Bucks. We hopped in the room before we recorded, just juiced, just
Oh, yeah.
absolutely amped up. This series, man. Like, side note, I know I started last episode after Game 3 with the side note of, okay, like, let's take a look from the perspective of an NBA fan. This series is everything you want from a playoff series. Just like it felt like Boston versus Brooklyn was heading there until Celtics managed to pull it out. This is everything that series promised to be. Like, it's just incredible. I'm on top of the world after that win. Green glasses back on. Al Horford. Just can we just start? Can we just start with the man, please? Oh my God.
Hey, listen, like I was on the Horford train. I said, you got to get this guy back here. He
I
rules.
know.
He's got stuff left to give. He willed the team to victory today. Tatum was also great down the stretch. You have to give him his props. He figured out whatever was wrong, but Horford absolutely was the lifesaver in the third quarter when they really were getting dominated by Giannis. Giannis was getting anything he wants. There was no problems for Giannis going inside, and Horford was the guy kind of keeping them in the game, making the shots that kept the runs from going out. You have to credit Derek White, too. He made a couple big threes in timely moments. Those are things we've talked about earlier in the series, especially in like game one. They weren't able to make those timely baskets. Tonight, they made timely plays over and over again. Not only that, they managed to get stops down the stretch, which the team as a whole played great defense in the fourth quarter. They didn't foul. Jaylen Brown had 5 fouls early in the third. I think they challenged it. It got overturned. Then he had 5.
I thought that was
And
4.
well, I don't know what
Regardless.
it was because
Anyway,
they said before that he had 4. I
I
think it's
remember.
5 because they took him out right after and he didn't come in for a while.
Yeah.
But Derek
Yeah.
White stepped up huge in those minutes where Jaylen had to sit out. And of course, the main man, Al Horford, uh, you know, turning it back. Is he even turning it back anymore?
Just
He's doing it on a regular basis. This is back-to-back games. We were talking about on the pregame show, man, like, wow, like you kind of wasted a big Al Horford game, 22 and 16. Guy comes out and bangs out a career high in points. Like, are you kidding me? And again,
just
with the timely baskets, he wasn't just putting up like garbage time buckets. He willed them back into the game. He made a big pull-up 3 to give him the lead in the fourth quarter. Big and one to dunk on Giannis. You name it.
I
Fantastic.
mean, Sam, the Celtics shot 84.2% in the fourth quarter.
Well, they should do that
Just
more often.
just absolutely dialed in. They missed 1 3. They shot 4 of 5 from 3. 14 of their 19 shots were not threes. And I know you love that. I know you love that stat, Sam. It was just Al Horford had 16 points in the fourth quarter. He was
Shades of
locked in.
Isaiah.
It just I mean, you can't ask for much more. 43 fourth quarter points. The Bucks were locked in. They shot 48% from the field, 50% from 3 in the fourth. The Celtics just killed them even more. And you can't say enough about Al Horford at this point. It's just like you said, it's not even like he's turning back the clocks anymore. He's just that guy. And that Kemba trade, everything you wanted, 16th overall pick. Be a fan of Alperen Sengun all you want. Al Horford is providing things for this Celtics team that you couldn't ask for from any other player in the NBA. It's just, it's incredible. I mean, pay the man whatever he wants this offseason. You can't let him go. I don't
Pick
care
up
how
the
old he is.
option.
Yeah, pick up the option, obviously, as if that was a question anymore. What did he finish the game with? 30?
He had
He
30.
have 30?
30 and 8.
Dude. Oh my God. 30 and 8, 5 of 7 from behind the 3-point line, 11 of 14. Just when you thought
Everybody should play like this. It's not that hard.
dude,
He's old and he's doing it. Come on,
bro,
man. Like,
in our last podcast, I think maybe I said it. You probably can't expect this from Al again, and I was right because
I
he gave
agreed
you
with you. I said that's a lot for him to do and guard on the other end.
and we were right because he gave you more than he gave you in the last one. It's just
Well, he only got half the rebounds today.
okay, yeah. Take it all away. Take it all back. Come on now. Get on the glass. And in all seriousness, we can get in this later. They need to get on the glass a little more.
Yes.
But
They fixed that, though.
they did.
They made an
They
adjustment,
did.
but
I just
valid.
I'm not ready to get off of Al Horford yet, though, man. Let's just break a little bit of it down. Giannis, you messed up. You can't yell it out, man. Evidently, you yell
It's
in
a
Al's
tech.
face.
Horford just
Yeah.
nods.
By the
He's like,
way,
"All right,
weak tech, very weak tech. Admittedly, from a Celtics fan, don't
weak
like that
tech,"
tech.
but it's consistent with other techs they give. They give
Yes,
that tech. It's gonna be a tech.
I thought it was a little preemptive. I think you should have given him a little more leeway. It is the playoffs. I mean, come on, give us a break. I
It's
also
true.
thought it was very ironic that Milwaukee fans were appalled when Al Horford accidentally hit Giannis in the face with an elbow when Giannis literally elbows every single Celtics player. And this isn't me saying, throw Giannis out of the game, give him text, etc. It's just if Giannis is doing it every play and you're not calling it, let's calm down a little bit when Al does it one singular time.
Mm.
And Al's was bad. He got him good, and it was deservedly so a tech. But let's be a little consistent because if Jaylen Brown's getting elbowed in the face on a drive and it's a foul on Jaylen Brown, mm, again, I'm not going to complain. Celtics won the game. It was a phenomenal game, but that was a little bit questionable. Al Horford though, just you can't say enough about the guy.
Well,
35 years
he's
old,
just
just
killing
amazing.
himself on both ends of the floor. He is like I tweeted the picture of the guy like yelling at the other person saying, "We're winning today." That was Horford. Like he said, "We are not going to lose this game." I
Yeah,
was watching the game. I am one of the more cynical people when I watch the Celtics. I always think the game's over after whatever run. Like in the third quarter, I was like, "Oh my god, like
me too. I was
this is the
panicking.
end." Like they are dead in the water. They're panicking. They're taking a lot of rushed shots, rushing offensive possessions, turning the ball over. They can't get a stop. Horford stabilizes that, and then they come out in the fourth quarter and just dominate. That is this is a historical night we just watched. Usually I get hopped up on home games. I love home games. I love when the crowd
Yeah,
gets into it. But that is a legendary performance. Like
just
you do not see stuff like this.
mhm.
I don't really have words for it. It's incredible what he did tonight. Incredibly efficient. It's everything you want out of a big night from somebody. And again, just the timely baskets. The only one he missed that was timely at the end of the third quarter, the three,
That last
it
one,
rimmed
yeah.
out. But even
Uh,
early on, when they couldn't buy a basket, he comes out, makes a jump shot, makes a three.
just
You
just
can rely.
amazing.
He makes the pull up three in transition in the fourth. Are you kidding me? That was stuff he wasn't even doing the first time he was on the Celtics.
No. He looks more athletic somehow, right? Am I wrong? Does he not look like younger now than he did when he was in Boston the first time? It's
He looks in this series and in this playoffs, this is the best I think he's ever looked,
I agree.
which is incredible. And he looked good to start the season. He slowed down a bit. You know, people were, whatever about him. But in this playoffs, he's been phenomenal. I don't know what he's done. Are we all gonna start slamming chocolate milk? 'Cause that's what we gotta do, because that's
Is that what he does?
he's doing in the locker room after the game, drinking a chocolate milk.
Love it.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Al Horford. I mean, we spent 8 minutes talking about Al Horford to start the show, and it doesn't feel like enough. I died. It's just wow. I'm speechless. That performance that's what you wanted from Jason Tatum or Jalen
Oh,
Brown this
they're
game, and you
lifting.
got it from
They're
Al Horford.
lifting post game.
Are you looking on Twitter right now?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
Oh my
Wick
god.
walks in the weight room. They're all lifting.
Who
Horford's doing
tweeted that?
lunges.
Who tweeted that? I need to see for
Uh,
myself.
Rob Green tweeted the video, but I think it's from Overtime. So if you follow them, shout out Rob Green. He always is liking the tweets and he's working his
Rob's a
ass
cool
off
guy.
writing. We see him.
Rob's a cool guy, yeah. Oh, I see it. Tatum posted it there. Oh my god. Did you see what we can transition topic a little. There was a video, the Celtics in the locker room. Daniel Tice goes, and we didn't even play well.
I did see that. Yes.
That's just
Which is true. Like
so
there
right.
was a I mean, you mentioned we can get into the duality. Let's speak English, Sam. Duality of the Celtics. Yeah,
Mhm.
I have the fourth quarter box score up. I have the third quarter box score up. Now, when you were talking about the fourth quarter earlier, the 84%, they only missed three shots, which is absolutely crazy. But
Just
19 shots, like you said, only five were threes.
yep.
This kind of thing is not a coincidence. They worked extremely hard to get good shots in this quarter. They were not being impatient. They were working the ball, they were moving the ball. Marcus did an excellent job, especially in the closing minutes of the game, to
Yep.
get into the post
Those
and take
buckets,
whoever he
man,
had.
huge.
So 19 shots, they made 16, and they made 4 of the 5 threes they took. Okay. Now let's look at the third quarter. They shoot 10 of 25, which isn't horrible. It's not ideal, but it's 40%. They lose the quarter by 6. They take 11 threes.
Yep.
That was when they were in more of a panic mode. They figured out finally that when things are going wrong, when you need to make timely baskets, which has just been a theme throughout this whole series, I guess any close series is going to be. But in the games, literally all of them,
Mhm.
except for game 2. Game 2 was just kind of a wash.
Yep.
Game 1 was close at times. It ended up being a blowout because they didn't make timely baskets. They get back in the game in game 3 by making them, and then they kind of crap out at the end. It's whatever. They gave a good effort, and it carried over to today. They had the confidence that they could do it, and it definitely boosted. Even though I was worried before the game, I was like, game 3 really might be a missed opportunity. It might be you had them. This was the game you had on the road. You had to win one on the road at least, and you let it slip. You had the lead with less than a minute to go, missed a couple threes, which were fine shots, but you don't come out on top. Tonight they do it again. And they said, "All right, we'll close this time."
Yep.
And you got to take your hat off to Tatum too, who struggled pretty poor kind of throughout the game. In the
It
third quarter,
was
he was 3 of 10, which was
it was
rough. It
the
was
worst 30 points you've ever seen. I'll put it that way.
well, yes and no. He was all
The
right in
f
the first
the
half.
4th quarter was clutch. He
He
came up
was
big in the 4th, but
he was 5 of 6 in the fourth with 15 points. No, sorry, 12 points. Great closer performance from Tatum. That 3 was
mhm.
big. I mean, he threw up the circus shot and made it.
Yeah, that's I called it the Luka shot. That was the Luka
That's
shot.
something Luka would do. Oh yeah. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, if it was the other way, now this is one thing I will say. If that was Giannis falling over some dude doing that, it would have been a foul. It would have been a foul.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
Tatum gets a decent whistle. It's no superstar whistle. He's getting there. But I'm telling you right now, well, if Giannis did, both dudes would have fell. That's why. They
I
would have had to
think
call something.
the whistle was still bad in this game, I think, for both teams. I still think it was
It
pretty
was it
not
was tough at
not
times.
consistent. It was, Giannis, like, some of those Al Horford fouls were questionable. I noticed it the most with him.
Early in the
Um,
game, it was
yeah.
rough. All 5 starters had a foul within, like, the first 5
Mhm,
minutes. It was a Tony Brothers game. But
mhm.
listen, I said this after the last game, just play better.
The
And
only
they did it.
one
The refs
the
didn't
only
matter
yes.
today because you
Yeah,
won.
mhm. Yes. The only foul, though, out of the ball that really pissed me off is Daniel Theis just not allowed to set screens anymore? Like, is he just not allowed to set
One
a
of them
pick?
was
Like,
illegal, the George Hill one was not him.
the George Hill
That
one
was
was
bad.
ridiculous. Yeah, the other one was illegal. He pulled him. And then I'm sorry. Peyton Pritchard's allowed to box out, guys. Like, he's allowed to box out just because he's as tall as
Well,
Giannis's legs.
no. That foul really wasn't on Pritchard, it was on Grant. Grant came barreling over, and they did them a favor by calling it on Pritchard.
Oh,
Because
okay,
Grant
I see.
had, like, 3 or 4 fouls at the time, or whatever period in the game it was, he
It was
had
second quarter,
he
maybe?
was in, like, the danger zone for fouls.
Okay,
So they did him a favor and called it on Pritchard.
I'll accept that. I'll
Those are
accept that.
those are things they do, like, which is, like, fine, like, good. They helped him out, and,
Mhm.
people are gonna complain. They're like, "Pritchard can't box out." Like, yeah, he boxed him
Mhm.
out well, but Grant just came over and, like, ran him over, and they were like, "All right, foul on
Yeah.
Pritchard," because Grant already had and Grant's been an important player. Grant, by the way, who's not good as a starter. He continues that trend when he starts in
Yes.
games. We talked about this pregame, and this was a situation for him to succeed as a starter, and he came out, and he was just running around with his head cut off, man. He was in the first quarter, like, indecisive or, like, spazzy out there,
He's doing too
throwing the
much.
ball away.
He's
He
doing too
tried
much.
to take that tough 3 that
Oh
got
my
blocked.
god.
What?
Sorry, I'm watching Grizzlies, and they just made a half court shot at the buzzer. Reporters are
Another one? They
pissed.
made one last
Yeah.
game too.
They made another
Oh,
one.
man, if that was me, I'm
Desmond
not
Bane.
happy.
Oh, it's Desmond Bane. He just made, like, a floating three-point off bound, yeah. Anyway, sorry, distraction. Yeah. Uh, Grant Williams, another messy game for sure. Derek White came in clutch, with those minutes at the end of the game. It was about all you could ask, from Derek White. 0 for 12. opponent's shot when guarded by Derek White as the primary defender. I saw that tweet out there. It's just incredible. The one thing I wanted to talk about,
Hmm.
we can transition here. Sorry, I took the nose spray because we've gotten comments about my Stifley thing. You saw me leave for a second on
Dude, I
YouTube. I
have
was grabbing
had
this.
like congestion for like the last 9 months.
I
I
live
got
with
sick in the
constant
summer. I don't think it
congestion.
was COVID, and I'm sure everyone's gonna love hearing this, but, like, I've had, like, phlegm in my throat for the last 9 months, or,
Oh
like,
my
my
god.
right nostril is, like, clogged all the time.
Yep.
I don't know
Yep.
what to
This
do
works
about this.
wonders. It's called allergy nasal mist.
Yeah, but I don't have
CVS.
allergies. I'm just,
It
my
doesn't matter.
body's broken.
It doesn't matter. It declogs everything. Trust. Trust, trust,
Alright.
trust. It's
I do a
amazing.
lot of spitting, which everyone wants to hear.
It's amazing. The one thing I wanted to talk about, through 4 games, it's become clear that the key in this series for the Celtics is stopping Drew Holiday.
Mm,
Slowing down Drew Holiday will win you the game. Game 1,
good
he didn't
call.
shoot the ball well. He didn't shoot the ball, like, well at all this series, really. But the 2 games the Bucks won, in game 3, Holiday had 25 points on, again, not very efficient shooting, 36% from the field, 30% from 3, but he had 25 points, 7 rebounds, excuse me, 3 assists. Like, he played well. And then in game 1, which I'm gonna try to find here on the go. In game 1, Drew Holiday had 25 points again. Again, not efficient shooting, 40% from the field, 60% from 3, 3 of 5, so that's good. But in the 2 games the Celtics have won, he's played bad. They've focused on him and they make it hard on him. And after the game, they said, we're targeting Drew Holiday on defense, which is something you don't hear. And it's because they said he's being forced to be so
Mm,
much of an offensive presence due to Chris Middleton's absence that they're trying to target him because he's tired. If you stop Drew Holiday, it doesn't matter how much Giannis scores. What did Giannis have tonight? Giannis had
36.
34 points, 18 rebounds, 5
He had a monster
assists.
game.
He
He
was
wasn't
great.
really that efficient. What
No, but
was
he
it?
played great.
32 shots? Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
they did a good job on him, as good as you could do. He
But
missed half his free throws,
yep,
turned
Drew
the ball over
Holiday
4
though.
times.
Drew
Yeah.
Holiday 16 points,
Oof.
5 of 22. You
Those are
stopped him.
Kyrie numbers.
You stop Drew Holiday. That's become the key to the series for me. I think you slow down Drew Holiday, you win the game. And like we've been saying, let Giannis kill. You stop the
Mm.
rest, that happens, and that's what they did with Drew Holiday. So that made me happy.
Yeah, Holiday, you're absolutely right, was a real pain in the ass in game 3. I don't know how many points he had, but he obviously made the big shot. Made a lot
25.
of big shots in the 4th quarter. The few baskets they
25.
got while the Celtics were rallying back, he was a part of, and they
Yeah.
didn't have an answer for him. So they have the right idea, like you said that they said. If they go at him,
Mhm.
he has to work, whether it's offensively or defensively. And so far, he's been no Al Horford, who's doing both. You know,
Yeah.
he's either giving you one or the other. Tonight, he was decent defensively. Nobody's perfect. Smart was not posting him at the end, was he?
Yeah.
He was. Oh well,
One of
maybe it
them
wasn't
was.
that
I think
great.
the other post up was Grayson Allen, but one of them was a Drew Holiday, if I remember
But
correctly.
yeah, he's got to work on one end, and he's got to make up his mind, and they need him to do both. And so far, you're right, and I hadn't even really thought of it, but it's glaring. He hasn't been able to do both. You got to make the
No,
guy work, and he is an annoying player in this series to me. I don't feel like he's that great of an offensive player, but
he's
when he
not,
starts making shots, I get kind of annoyed. Another guy, Brook Lopez, I've had enough of. When
dude.
he tipped in the missed free throw, that to me, I really thought the game was over.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was bad.
oh my god. Offensive rebounds, which we can get into now, were a killer in the first half, and I guess through the 3rd quarter because they didn't really play that well then either.
Mhm.
But that was a glaring issue when the Celtics would struggle this season. Early in the season, they gave up a lot of second chance points, and they did again tonight. They managed to cut it out in the 4th quarter. Let me see. I'm not sure that Milwaukee had an offensive rebound in that 3rd quarter. The 4th
Let me
quarter.
look. I have it up.
They
4th
had
quarter,
2.
mhm, and one was Brook Lopez, one was Grayson Allen.
Yep,
I'm
and the
actually gonna
Celtics
write
had 0.
something. I'm going to write something either tonight or tomorrow morning about Brook Lopez called, look for it on Celtics blog. Brook Lopez is Boston's greatest hurdle because he has been so far. It's not Giannis, it's not Drew, it's not
Dude,
Grayson,
I
it's
don't know
not
how this
anybody.
guy is
It's Brook
contributing.
Lopez.
He is the most uncoordinated athlete I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's like a dinosaur out there. He's just so big. He's massive.
Mhm.
He moves like Godzilla.
Yeah.
He's not like bowling dudes over like Giannis, like everyone's complaining about. but he's just so awkward. The travel was fantastic, by the way.
That
When he
was
tried,
funny.
like, posting up, and then he just did, like, a 180, like, turn. Like, he jumped
Mhm.
and did a 180.
He had 5 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, he's
It's
a pain in
just
the ass, man.
he's
He's just
killing
so
you.
damn big. When Milwaukee was hanging with the Celtics in the 4th quarter, it was because of him. He
Mhm,
had, let's see, he had 10 4th quarter points. Like, give me a break, that
and
guy.
not only that, and I haven't dove into the film yet, I'm still working on everything. The Celtics are afraid of Brook Lopez, and that's what's killing them. Tatum is afraid to drive into the paint when Brook Lopez is there. Jaylen Brown is afraid to drive into the paint when Brook Lopez is there. Everybody on the Celtics is afraid to drive in the paint when Brook
Mm,
Lopez is standing there because he's such a big time interior force. He had what? He only had 1 block in this game, Sam. It felt
which
like
was
he had
nice.
7. I know, and it felt like he had 7. 'Cause that's the presence he has, and
If you really wanna get crazy, think of it like this. When Rob has started, well, I mean, in general, Milwaukee has won every opening tip this series. So he's out tipping Rob, who can jump out the gym, 3 times in a row.
mhm,
He can get his hand high up, so he is gonna block shots. He's just massive.
and the big reason I just thought of this now, and again, I'm gonna go into the film and figure this out later. You know how Marcus Smart got those 2 big time shots down low in the paint in the 4th
Yes,
quarter? It was because of Al Horford, because Al Horford wandered out of the paint and took Brook Lopez with him. He said,
right.
"Brook, you're coming with me. I'm gonna nail this 3 if you don't." Brook Lopez goes, "Yep, you know what, Al? You are right. I'm not letting you shoot a 3." And Marcus got 2 tough shots, by the way, huge shots by Marcus in the 4th, that he drained over Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen. So Brook Lopez, realistically speaking, on the court, mentally, physically, technically, however other Lee you want to talk about, Damian Lee, David Lee, I don't care, he's the Celtics' biggest hurdle in the series. They need to attack him or they need to get him out of the paint because as we saw in game 1, you can't take 53 pointers and expect that to be a valid option. And we've seen that in the last 2 games. They've
Mm,
realized they took 33 threes in game 3. They took 37 threes tonight or last night when you guys are listening to this. They found the formula. They found that sweet spot. You got to figure out a way to beat Brook Lopez because he's been their biggest hurdle mentally and physically in this series. He's such an impressive defensive force, and they said this during the TNT broadcast. Uh, Milwaukee's defense was 14th in the regular season, and Brook Lopez was
yep.
out for the majority of the regular season. And they've skyrocketed to the best defense in the NBA during the playoffs, and Brook Lopez
Which
is
which is
the
something we
biggest
all
part of that.
overlooked going into it.
Yes, very much so. I'm completely at fault of that as well. I did that, and I'll hand up. Milwaukee is amazing. And speaking of the broadcast, did you listen? I know you're at work during the game, but did you
I had
listen?
it on.
You know I love Grant Williams. You know,
Mhm.
biggest Grant Williams guys.
Oh, yeah.
Stan Van Gundy loves him too much, and I will say that he just too much. He loves Grant Williams way
I
too
didn't
much.
pay that much attention to any of what he
He
was saying about Grant. I don't remember him saying
every
anything.
time, uncanny. Every time Giannis scored, he goes, "Boston's got to get Grant Williams in there. He can
Okay,
do a much better
he did
job than
I
Al
do remember
Horford.
that.
They got to get Grant Williams in there. Grant Williams is guarding him on." I know. Stop, Stan. You got to stop. I love Grant. Coming from the biggest Grant fan, if you listen,
The
you know
OG
how much I
Grant
love him.
fan,
Yes, you gotta
the
stop.
king.
You gotta calm it down. Every Boston Celtics possession was just Grant Williams, Grant Williams, Grant Williams. And the game 3 or game 2 or whatever last SVG game was, I loved it. He's pushing my agenda. You gotta chill out.
Stan, by the way, taking the side of the Celtics
Very
with the
biased.
calls.
Very biased. For
He is
some reason.
really saying, like, in the 1st quarter, he's like, "I'm not sure that's a foul. I'm not sure this is a foul."
It was
He has had
entertaining.
enough of the whistles as well.
Mhm. Very funny. It just I love Grant
Man, you gotta get
from
Kevin
my
Harlan on
standpoint.
these games, dude. I don't wanna listen to Brian Anderson. I like watching highlights, but when I have to listen to him on the tape, it just doesn't do it for me.
Is Breen ESPN? Mike Breen?
Breen is on ESPN.
Bro,
Mark Jones is on ESPN, who is
I
fine.
love Mark Jones.
He
I
is
love Mark
fine.
Jones. Yeah.
Who's this? I don't after those 2 teams, though, on ESPN, I don't care for it.
Let me see. ESPN,
Breen is the A team.
bro.
I'm pretty sure Jones is the B team. On TNT, the A team is Harlan Miller, and they've been on the West games. Anderson and,
Mhm.
SVG are on the East games, and I'm not a fan of Brian Anderson. I don't know how many times I gotta say, "Stop giving me him, man." And if you're gonna make
Uh,
us listen to him, at least you gotta let NBC Sports
okay.
Boston get some rights here.
Excuse me. I got it. Mike Breen, Mark Jones, Dave Pash, who I don't
He
know
does
much.
college. I was talking to a friend about this
Ryan
actually.
Ruocco, Brian Custer, Beth Mowens are
Yes.
play-by-play, but it's mainly Breen and Mark Jones who do it. And analysts are Jeff Van Gundy, who I haven't seen much in the playoffs. I've seen Stan, who's TNT. Um, Mark Jackson, who I have seen, who I don't love.
Mark Jackson, by the way, let's talk about this quickly before we because he is in all of these coaching discussions, right? And this
Mhm.
guy on the broadcast is the biggest LeBron guy, always all over LeBron, always praising him. But then the reports come when he doesn't want the LeBron job. I
Yeah,
wonder
I think
why. Why?
this
How he
is
loves the guy. He doesn't want to coach him.
this is
Why?
a backwards way of thinking. I think he's the perfect coach for LA because if he fails, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he fails. Like, it doesn't affect him in any way. And I think
Mm.
they all respect him enough. I don't know. That's my weird take. Anyways, the rest of them: Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter, Hubie Brown, Doris Burke. Hubie's legend, but
Hubie was great the other day. You know what? One
you
thing I
liked
really liked
Hubie?
that
I didn't
no,
love
no, no.
Hubie. I thought
I
Hubie was
one thing I
annoying.
really liked that Hubie was saying during Game 3 because he was on the call. He would really like try and put in perspective. If you're rooting for this team, this is how you feel about whatever play it was. And I
Okay,
actually
yes, he
really
did that.
like that because when you watch these national broadcasts, a lot of the times, like they just give you their opinion. Like, let's, for instance, Stan Van Gundy today, right? If you're watching the game and you want
Yep.
Milwaukee to win, and he's
Hate
talking
it.
about how he doesn't think all these things are fouls, like you're getting pissed. So shout out to Hubie on that, man.
Yeah, Hubie did that well
Hubie's
today.
fine. He's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, wrapping back around, we kind of got off topic there. We can talk about Al Horford. No, I'm just kidding. It's just I can't get enough of Al. Excuse me. Talk Derek White for a little bit. I know we mentioned him, but Derek White was
He was awesome.
absolutely phenomenal in this game as a defender, as just the perfect
He
player.
had
You want
11
one for three from
points.
three, not there, but yeah, he did all right. I mean, he was a great fill in. Realistically speaking, as much as it's not a perfect comparison, he kind of took Rob's minutes. He kind of took over as the Celtics shifted up, played one center for most of the fourth quarter because Grant was, I don't want to say unplayable, but wasn't great. Derek White stepped up, man, big time.
One thing you can say about Derek White, um, he did not take a single bad shot. I'm not convinced Derek White ever really takes a bad shot. If he misses a lot of shots, you start to get frustrated with it, which people on Twitter have been. But yeah, he was 1 of 3 from 3. Every single one of his threes I thought was a good shot. It looks like it's gonna go in. He has good form. He definitely knows how to shoot the ball.
Hmm.
He was fine. He made good cuts. He scored on the break. He made a big 3. Finishes with 11 points. He had like 4 assists too. Helped on the glass. Derek White played a great game. 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Plus
Hmm.
18 for the night. You're right. He was big filling in Rob minutes, and he was big when Jalen got into foul trouble. He played a lot of the fourth quarter. Derek White in the fourth quarter. The whole
Yeah,
quarter. Played the whole
yeah,
quarter.
amazing, perfect. Marcus
Plus
Smart just tweeted.
15. What do you say?
Beautiful. Marcus Smart just tweeted, by the way.
Oh, any
When I'm almost 36-year-old, please, Lord, let me be just a fraction of the player Al Horford is. I mean, what an absolute amazing teammate and player. Big win, fellas. Big
Marcus was
team win for
excellent today too. He made a lot of
he was.
great drives. He took 3 threes, made 2 of them, 8 of
Very efficient.
13, 8 assists. Marcus played a great game tonight. I was talking to my buddy Devin, who's always in the pregame chat,
Yep. Shout
about,
out to Evan.
he loves to bust my balls when Marcus doesn't shoot well. Because it
Yeah, what'd he
happens.
say
There are games
tonight?
Marcus will chuck. No, he likes him, but he's just like, "Oh, yeah, like your guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever." What was he, like, 1 of 6 last game or something
Mhm.
crazy like that?
Something not great.
But then he was like, "Oh, there's gonna be that game." He's 8 of 12, 8 of 13 today. He almost
5 of
nailed it on
2
the
of
head.
3. Yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing. 8
But he
assists
was
too.
making really great, like, decisions.
Yes,
He
yes,
was
8
not
assists.
playing a lazy game. I feel like in game 3 in particular, he kinda played a lazy game. I don't remember game 2 or game 1. I know game 1, they all kinda played lazy. They were afraid to drive. Nobody was taking mid-range shots. But I know for a fact today He put his mind to it. He made some timely baskets, especially on the drive. A couple of left-handed layups. He's like one of the only guys taking layups,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
he's making a concerted effort. He's seeking out contact rather than avoiding it, which is something the Celtics haven't done a lot this series, which they need to do moving forward, but you can't complain with a 10-point win like they had the other night. So,
To circle back to Tatum, he really got going. Speaking of layups, he took a tough layup. Like he got hit,
yeah,
nothing was called, and he
it went
made
in.
it. And
Huge.
that kind of got him going. It was
Mhm.
almost like he realized, like, wow, like that's not impossible. I can do that.
Yeah.
And he
And
kind of changed the way he was playing. He wasn't being overly aggressive. Even at the end of the third quarter, right? He drives and kicks it out to Al, who misses the three.
yep.
But he had an okay look at the rim. And instead of taking the layup, he kicks it out for a missed three, even though it was a good shot. Like Al Horford was great tonight. Only missed two threes. That happened to be one of them. But he could have probably taken the layup. He just was feeling like uncertain. It seemed like he was uncertain a lot throughout the last two games, and he something clicked for him today in the fourth quarter, and he got confident again.
And you know what, Sam? I really, really hope that carries over into next game.
They need it.
It better. He needs to, because I don't know if I can handle another Tatum game 3. And it didn't happen tonight. Again, 30 points, although it didn't look like a Tatum 30 points. It looked like a 30 points, if you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
next game, we need 30 points. We need
You didn't feel
like
like he was dominating the game, right?
exactly. Exactly. Oh man.
He did though. He took over for a period of time in the fourth quarter. That
Yes.
third quarter was bad for him. 3 of 10, uh, 1 of 3 from 3. Didn't turn the
Mhm.
ball over though, which is good for him. 3 assists. But
Yes.
he just struggled. He got cold and it hurt his percentages. It hurts the game you remember out of him. Al Horford's gonna get all the credit, but you have to credit Tatum too because he was big down the stretch. And again, it's the theme of the day, timely baskets. Timely three he makes. Timely
Mhm.
scoop shot, Luka layup. Timely tough layup through contact that gets him going. And
Big time
from
3.
from what I
Big
remember,
time 3.
he
Yes.
didn't completely get cooked today on defense. He was a little better. There was a couple
Yeah.
plays. There was one step through he gave Giannis that was like real weak. Like Giannis was pivoting, and like on the third pivot, he just kind of gave up and let him go
Yeah,
through.
that was bad.
But oh
In
man,
addition, you know who did get cooked on defense?
Jalen,
Jalen got
he
cooked
was just
on
watching
defense.
out there.
Yeah.
I think in the well, he had 5 fouls, but in the second
The
half,
first
he
half,
wasn't out there as much. So that's
yeah,
maybe why I don't remember it. But in the first half,
first
he was
half was
bad.
bad. It was
Oh
bad.
my
And
god,
I said this on the pregame. I'm hoping you remember it because I got the receipts. Why are we switching Jalen Brown onto Giannis? It
he got some
doesn't
stops today.
work. No, he got like 1,
He got a
maybe
couple.
2.
He
The
did better than last
majority
game.
the majority of them were Giannis blowbys, Giannis powered through, Giannis foul. Like, you
I
see that the
agree.
Bucks are, like, adamantly attacking
Yep.
that matchup, and I guess you got away with it because you got the win, but it was not an easy one, it was not
No.
a good one, it was an ugly win,
I'm
and you
not
take the
I'm
ugly
not
wins,
sure you're
but
gonna see any more easy wins.
yeah,
I'd love to see
I
an easy win in game 5. I would. Love to
I
see 2.
tweeted it I tweeted this out. I said, "I don't think," or sorry, "I didn't think I could be more stressed watching a series than I was watching Boston, Brooklyn, and now I'm
Man, that was a
here."
sweep.
It's just and I was
That
still
was a
stressed
sweep.
every game, stressed
Me
every
too.
game, and
I
now
think when you're
this.
up on a team like that, like, I'm there's almost, like, more pressure to me, like, as a fan. Well, especially I was stressed in that series because I obviously don't like Kyrie, and so you don't wanna lose to him. This series,
Yeah.
you're stressed because the other team's actually real good. But
You
when
wanna
you're up,
know
like, 3 nothing
Yeah,
on the Nets, you're like, "Okay, you lose game 4. Oh boy, does KD figure it out. Do you lose game 5? Then you have to go back for game 6." Like, I start thinking like that, like, where it snowballs in my head, like, "Oh boy." I
Klay
haven't had that
Thompson
this series.
Klay Thompson just hit a stupid shot in the corner. Sorry, I've got the
Also,
game
stat
on.
news, Giannis is 15 of 49, 30% when guarded by Horford this series. He is 35-65 when guarded by anybody else.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, clamps. You wanna know how you know I was stressed? This is how you know. I'm sitting here watching the game, I go on TikTok during the, excuse me, during the commercials, I'm like, "Okay, Just gotta breathe. Just gotta breathe. I turned my head up. I'm like, oh, Budenholzer put Javon Carter, and that's interesting. I'm still like sweating, and I'm like, oh
Mm.
wait, they gave up. There's 20 seconds left. I didn't even know that Budenholzer put the subs in. I was still sitting there like, this is an interesting sub from Budenholzer. What's he doing? And I realized, wait, we're up 10 with 30 seconds left. Like that,
There
that's the
was a
game.
play, they got an offensive rebound, I wanna say. It was a 6-point game. Grayson Allen gets a
Hmm.
wide open 3, and I said,
Oh,
"That's gonna go in."
I said the same
I
thing.
was like, "Oh my god." And then they
Did it
missed
go
it. I
in?
was like, "No, no,
Okay.
he missed." He missed, and I was like, "You know, that
Do
might
you,
be it."
dude, do you know what's killing me? Why are we jumping at every single pump fake, guys? What are you doing
Because
in the fourth quarter?
they're closing out
Oh,
so late because they were doubling on Giannis and helping on Giannis,
but
that when he
why
would
are we
kick it
doing
out,
that?
they were trying to just get out there to affect the shot, and they were
The Wesley Matthew threes
overcompensating.
all came because someone jumped and he just pump faked, stepped to the side, hit another one. Grant did hit one big side step three, I remember, which was clutch. But yeah, man, you can't be jumping like that. You can't be jumping like that. Oh, Marcus Smart, by the way, also gets credit. He played really well on Giannis tonight too. Like he guarded
Well,
Giannis really well
that's
tonight.
something they kinda found. When things
Yes,
were going well in that 4th quarter, it was because Smart was picking up Giannis. He's it's almost like this, right? Marcus is small enough to where if he's getting hit by Giannis, it's like
they'll
almost
call
like
it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and he knows Giannis knows in his head that he drew 2 charges on him today. He knows that he's at risk.
Mhm.
Nobody else Al Horford's not taking charges on Giannis. Grant took a
No.
couple in game 2. That might be something to look for going forward, is if they keep putting him on Giannis, it allows them to have Horford down low on Lopez or whoever the
Lopez.
second guy is as the Rob role, if you will, and also to make sure
Mhm.
they're not getting so many offensive rebounds. That was an adjustment they made in that 4th quarter, only giving up 2 with Horford kinda helping to box out there. And Tatum had a great
Yeah,
rebounding game too,
he did. Needed,
13
much
for
needed.
him. And that was the first telltale sign for me. Right from the get-go, Tatum was all over the glass.
Good.
Last game, he only had 1 rebound, which is very uncharacteristic of Tatum. He was just kind of out of it. Today, he was locked in from the beginning, didn't play great offensively until the end, but he was trying to win. He didn't seem to
Yeah.
panic too much. I'm not really sure he took too many bad shots. Do you remember any bad shots from Tatum that really stick out to you? I don't.
Let's see.
When we went through this last game, we had so many. We were like, "This one, this one, this one."
I feel like there was 1 or 2 that were ill-advised. I can't think of them off the top
Mm,
of my head. I'm looking through right now quick, but from what I remember, most of them were good. I think there was 1 or 2 threes maybe that I was like, I don't know if we should be taking that one here." He did shoot 3 of 10 from 3, so it wasn't his best performance from deep. But for the most part, like you said, he it felt like he knew what he needed to do, and he executed, which is good. He only took 1 shot in the 4th quarter, by the way, which is kinda
who?
wild. Um,
Tatum?
oh, sorry.
He had 6
What is this?
shots. He had 15, 12 points,
Sorry, I was looking at threes. I was looking at threes. He only took
and
1
he
3 in
made
the
it.
4th quarter, which is good.
And
Which is
it
that's
was
a
it
that's
was
a
an
good.
appropriate time to take it. He had made a
Yes.
couple baskets. He was in a
Yes, in
rhythm off
rhythm.
a dribble. It wasn't early in the shot clock. That's one
Yeah.
thing I really wanna see them get away from. When Milwaukee has really ramped up and gone on a run, it's been because they start rushing, and they speed up
Yes.
the offense, which is something you keep hearing, whether it's us or other people talking about it. You can't let them
And
speed you up like that.
speaking of speeding up, the Celtics played really well when they got out running. They when they
Mm,
got out running, they got easy looks. That Derek White dunk was great. They didn't force too many turnovers. The Bucks only turned the ball over 7 times, but they were huge. And on the flip side, the Celtics only turned the ball over 11 times. Every single one of them, it was always Bucks made them pay. Every like
that's
uncanny.
true.
Just you
Milwaukee's
can't.
great on capitalizing in off of
Mhm.
turnovers, which is partly Giannis. He's very good on the break.
And also, Milwaukee deserves a shout out. They are playing just phenomenal defense, right? Like if
Yeah,
you're forcing Tice to take 2 threes in a row on back-to-back possessions, like that's amazing defense. Like they're playing the Celtics just extremely well. They're playing them extremely well. I'm losing my words here because it's late and I'm not fully with it,
you're gonna
but
need Rob back for game 5, though. I think
yeah,
I love Tice. I'm a Tice guy. but he was not
You
good
need
today.
Rob, though.
He
I
was
don't
not
think you
good.
should I don't think Rob should play a ton of minutes, which he hasn't been so far.
Mm.
I think Horford needs to needs to play 40 plus. What he played tonight? He played, yeah,
He played
41,
40
36.
40 yeah, he played, like, crazy minutes. But going back to Rob, the thing that's really helpful with Rob is, 1, you don't have to play Tice, and
Yep.
he's I mean, it's really just, like, the improvement he is over Tice makes it easier when somebody
Tice did
has
have
to
one
sit
good
down.
play though. Tice had one good. I remember it vividly. He went straight up on Giannis and played great defense. He's a nice backup to have. I'll put it that way.
Tice
He's a
is
nice.
good as a 3rd guy. He's
Yes,
fine.
yes.
And he was good in the, Nets series as the fill-in. He was fine. This is just
He
not the
was.
series for Tice.
No.
If they're playing Miami in the next round, it'll be a different story. He'll be able to play minutes and not be cooked. Like,
Yeah.
that's just how it is. It's just a bad matchup. Both
Mhm.
Giannis and Brook Lopez are just monsters, and he's not built for that.
Yeah. Um. Boston won't be able. Boston was not the best team in Game 4. I'll put it that way. They were not the better team. They played the better quarter,
Mm,
but I think 1 through 3, the Celtics
yeah.
were the worst basketball team.
It felt like they were playing catch up, which they were. They got off to a slow start, caught up in the second, had a chance to extend the lead before halftime. They did not. They had a chance to push it to 6 a couple times, and they
Mhm.
went down 1 to go into the half.
Disaster third again. Just
Obviously, yep.
terrible.
3rd quarter bad, but then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll take the 4th quarters, man.
Oh,
Give me
I'm
the
not
4th
complaining.
quarters. And
I'm not
again,
complaining.
this is an improvement we've seen out of the Celtics through the playoffs. They've been pretty good in close games. Now, every game against Brooklyn was close down the stretch. Game 2 was not close. Game 1 was not close. Game 3 was close, and they managed to battle back. Again, kind of got unlucky at the end, missed some good shots, whatever. Today, again, executed well down the stretch, got themselves back into back-to-back games after being kind of out of both of them. I mean, I
Mhm.
really thought the season was over tonight for a good amount. I mean, I'm very cynical when I watch
Mhm.
games. Every
No, me
single
too,
thing
me
is
too, me
like
too.
everything is like, "Oh, man, like, that's it."
I had thoughts. I was like, "Wow, this I might not be able to watch Celtics basketball in a week. Like, this is
Yeah.
it's not great." My point is though, the Celtics were not the best basketball team tonight, and they brought it back in the fourth quarter. They cannot get away with that. They cannot continue to get away with that because I know we said it about Al, but I'm very confident the Celtics won't shoot 80% in the fourth quarter next game. And I know that maybe that's bold. Maybe I'm bold here, but I don't think that happens again.
Oh my
You
god, this game's
cannot.
close.
Yeah, no, it's a great game. Golden State
Memphis
brought
is
it back.
about to win. They're up 2 without Ja?
Golden State just came back. They were up like 10.
Really?
Memphis was up a lot. Yeah, this is a good
Oh,
game.
boy.
I predicted Memphis to win this game because I don't think they get punked twice in a row. They got blown out in game 3, and I don't
No,
think
I
that happens
know.
again.
But, man, I mean, that's
Yeah, man.
brutal if Golden State loses this game.
Hey, I was telling you and Tim this on the pregame when we were debating Ja for MVP. Grizzlies are good regardless, but no, in all
They are,
seriousness.
yeah, you're right. That
Mm.
is an ancient conversation that you were right about.
Wrapping back around, anyways. Um, Boston needs to do better. They
Mm,
need to get into the flow of their offense sooner. They need to take smarter shots sooner. Jason Tatum needs to play
yes.
like Jason Tatum sooner. Al Horford needs to continue to take whatever serum he's doing, special drink, whatever. He's gonna get drug tested soon, probably.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
I was about to say Al Horford surprise drug test tomorrow.
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, man. And Jalen Brown needs to be better on defense. You just got to
Yep.
lock in. You can't. He was like you said earlier. I think you mentioned it. He was just helping unnecessarily. He was leaving people on the
They've
3-point
fallen into
line.
traps of helping unnecessarily a couple times. Game 1 was a big one, right? They were helping on every time Giannis had the
Yeah,
ball. It was a
but
double, leaving a shooter open. Milwaukee made him pay. Tonight,
now they're
excuse
helping
me.
on other people too, though. Like it's not just Giannis, which is like
Yeah,
why.
I'm not I'm not sure what I think of the helping. I don't know. There are times it is appropriate, like, all right, 3rd quarter, Giannis is doing whatever he wants. You gotta start. You gotta figure something out. Whatever they I think Marcus may be the solution for that. I just think he is the perfect guy. Giannis knows he can't, like, abuse him like the other guys because Marcus will make him pay. He's gonna go down. He's gonna,
Yeah,
flop, if you will, but it's at the point where it's a believable thing, and
yeah.
Giannis falling down from hitting Smart is, like, really? Compared to, like, him hitting Horford and going down, you know what I mean?
Those
Like,
those interactions were weird today too. You see when
yeah,
Giannis
he
kind of
wouldn't
fell
take his
on
hand, like,
Marcus and
whatever. I don't know.
well,
They're competitive.
Marcus said Well, Marcus said after the game, he goes, "I was trying to help him up, and he was just holding me so I wouldn't get back in the play." So I don't really know why, like, that was allowed. Like,
Really? I didn't know that. Let me look.
if you watch the replay,
Find it.
I mean, I don't know how much truth there is to it. Giannis might just have not been paying attention. But if you look at it, Smart is actively trying to help Giannis up, and Giannis is just kind of holding on to him without really doing anything, and then he lets go.
I mean, they
And
got
then
tangled up real bad.
they did. But like, watch, Marcus is trying to help him up for like 30 seconds, and Giannis is just like holding him there, which is weird. And then when Jalen got that play on Giannis, and Giannis like grabbed the back of his neck, he obviously was trying to like say, "Hey, like sorry about that," and Jalen Brown was not having it. Very chippy. Series is getting very, very, very chippy very fast. But it's just weird. And it's weird because you can tell, just like Marcus trying to help him up, Giannis making sure Brown's okay. You can tell they care about and respect each other, but they're so locked in right now that they despise every single opponent. Like they hate each other, but you can tell that they
That's the
respect each
playoffs.
other.
So it should be.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Oldest Celtic with 30 points in the playoff game. 1 Havlicek, 37. 2 Horford today.
Wait, say that again. Say that stat.
Havlicek at 37 had a 30-point playoff game. Horford was second in age
Wow.
to do that.
On the Celtics, right? Not all time.
Yes. Yep.
Crazy. I wonder what the all time is. Let me Google that real quick. Oldest player score 30 points in NBA playoff game. Okay, it was Karl Malone, who was 40. Okay. Yeah, never mind. And then a lot of Kareems when he was like 39, 40. That makes sense. Yeah, never mind. Al Horford's not on there. Al Horford, though, the first player to score. Never mind. Chris Paul did it twice this year. Okay. Irrelevant information from Jack. Never mind. Yeah, man. Big game from the Celtics.
It
Gotta
was massive.
keep it
Today
going.
today was the season. Just like every
Yes.
time they've had the chance to have the season, game 2, game 4, they've executed. They've been what they needed to be.
And
Now
now
they need
you
to
gotta
think of game
capitalize.
5 as the season as well, because I think if you lose this game at home again, you're cooked. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, you just won in Milwaukee tonight. Who's to say you can't do it again? But don't make it hard on yourself. Win the next game, will you?
I'll put it this way. Boston, you have home court back. You
Yeah.
got home court advantage back. You
And
cannot
it was
lose.
this big thing going into the playoffs. Well, we're going to be hardos and play the Nets, which turned out to be fine. But going in, everyone's like, it was the big debate. Do you want to risk playing the Nets, who everybody thought were going to be a pain in the ass,
Yep.
for home court? Or do you just want to play Chicago and coast and not worry about it? Now,
Yeah.
I mean, here you are. You got it back, which is good. If they lost today, I would have been real pissed about that. Just the
Mhm.
thought of how much energy went into that conversation, it wouldn't even have mattered.
Yeah. Shout out though. Shout out Boston. They got
Fantastic.
home court back.
You
Huge game.
you gotta give Ime a shout out. He adjusted mid-game again, got them back into the
Mhm.
game. Obviously, the players are a part of it, but, he's working out there, working the refs, showing him 3 fingers for how many, offensive fouls he thought there were at a time in the game.
I thought that was for 3 steps. I thought he
Could
was
have
saying
been.
that was traveled.
Well, the
Regardless,
commentary said otherwise. They
I
said 3
remember. Yeah,
they were
yeah.
guessing.
Mhm. Shout out regardless. Boston gotta keep it going. Cannot start off slow, at the Garden. We need another game
Mm.
2. You gotta
They'll be
start off
ready.
hot.
They'll be ready
I
in
hope
there.
so.
I
God,
would
I
be
hope
going.
so.
I'm working. Timmy G extended the invites. I had to decline. I will
Mm,
be here.
yes.
I'll be at
I
work.
actually told him I couldn't go because I was going to be in Ithaca, and now I'm not. So
Oh,
maybe
go
I'll hit
go.
him up.
No, no, go.
We'll see.
He'll
I don't know
he'll
if
take
that'd
it.
be
Go.
I don't know if that'd be good for my mental, man. I get
Go to the
I'm
game.
bro, as I'm sitting here by myself, my sister came in, she goes, "Can I watch the game with you?" I'm go, "If you don't speak, you can watch the game with me because I'm so
I'm the
logged in."
same way. If you're listening, let us know if you're like a freak when you watch the game. I don't like to be bothered when me and my dad will sit
I'm
there and watch the
locked
game
in.
and just watch in silence.
Mhm.
I don't
I
like to
love
go out
watching
to
the game with
watch
my
the game.
dad.
I don't like going to a restaurant if the sound's not on. I hate that.
Yep.
Very few times will I go to a friend's house to it's an elite club I will go watch a game with.
Mhm.
I don't like not being on the couch for a game. I like
Yes.
going to
I
game
sit
2
in
was
this chair.
fantastic in the Nets series. It's funny when you're there, I don't get the same anxiety when I'm there for a game where I hang on every single play.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Maybe I'm like you said, I'm cynical. I enjoy the anxiety in a weird way. I'm like, I need it. I need it. Anyways, uh, that's all I got. Got to come out with the energy. Can't start off slow in game 5. It's going to be huge. We've been
Jeez,
loving I
getting
don't know
close
about Sam, I
calls
think we
tonight.
talked about it. I've been loving recording right after the games. I think it's great to get
It's
the
fun.
thoughts out.
Yeah, and
Very fun.
it's not a regular season game. I mean, if we did this after regular season games, I'm sure we could do it the way, we react to games. I'm not sure how sustainable this is gonna be when I go back to working in the morning, which will be Thursday. We'll
Oh
see.
god.
We'll see. We'll figure it out. We're gonna get these out for you if I I know when I watch a game, I'm excited to listen to stuff and see what people say. So it's fun
We'll
doing
find
these
it.
after the game. We have fresher takes and we remember things. I remember
Mhm.
things. I know Jack's always ready.
Yeah.
But
We'll figure it out.
yes.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it as always.
Mhm.
Um, Al Horford, gonna wrap the show with him as well. Just wow. Nothing more you can say but wow about Al Horford. And yeah, I'll throw it over to you, Sam.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're on YouTube, you're probably watching on Guy Boston or Bannertown. If that's the case, make sure you subscribe and leave a like. I always go on and leave a like, not to, toot our own horn. I got to make sure I do it. Make sure we
Love
get
it.
the
Love
engagement.
it.
But we had a couple nice comments on the last one, on the Guy Boston one, saying we were unbiased and we weren't complaining that much, which is good
We
from
try.
Bucks
I
fans.
reel Sam in usually. I try to keep it unbiased.
Hey, I am always the last blame the refs guy. I hate
I
blame the
know,
refs.
I know, I know, I know.
I never, even in the first half today, people complain about the refs. It's like, just play better. And look, they did, and they
Mhm.
won. Wow, magic! Can you believe it? They won a game where the refs might not have been the best. And guess who's talking about the refs? Like no one, except for us right now.
Yep.
But yeah, and if you're listening on the streaming platforms, make sure you leave a follow. That way you don't have to wait for Jack to tweet the pod. I had to remind him the other day.
He
But when he
did, but
does
I did
tweet
it.
it, it
I
it
did do
does
it.
come from at Jackson NBA. You can follow me at Sam France NBA. That's our show.
Taco, come on.
Taco's
Taco.
having some fun here.